Zook. What's up? I think we're close. And I think that Falone, what's up? Good to see you, man. I think we're close. I think we're close to a bottom. And I think it's about to be the last bounce of the year. Maybe the last bounce before real shit goes bad. Well, I don't know. Let's talk about it. I got new lights. You see, I got very high studio style lights. Apart from the fact that I'm wearing a sweatshirt that goes against my background that makes it look like I'm in prison, I assure you I'm not in prison. Yet, I guess. I don't know. This just looks too good to not hold. You know what I mean? You ever look at shit and go, this is just too obvious. It has to hold. And there's quite a few indicators that I look at, some of which I can share, others that I cannot, that say we're going to get a bounce here. And I'm on high alert. Okay, this is like, I don't know. You know when if you've ever been a contract worker and you think to yourself, this is my last shot to like make money for my family for the holidays, I think that's what we're about to get. No joke. I believe that's what we are about to get. Okay. A weekly double bottom here could be really nuts. Now, I'm speculating. XXT bag, what's up? Last shot before the election. Last shot before the holidays. Like, there's a ton of reasons why I think we have a good chance of a like midterm low being put in. What the hell is reflecting off my glasses? I don't know. I'll have to look into that. Sell in October and walk away. Yeah, Kali, no joke, man. Like, I think that. So like 4 bars, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 4 bars. So in 4 bars, the high to the low was 41.71 to where we are essentially now, 36. That's 500 points. So over the next 4 weeks, can we see a 5 to 7, 800 point rip like back up to this range high? I think so. I think that's a real possibility. And you get that bounce we kind of talked about on Friday when I streamed. And then you come down, and like I think this is going to be like when I think about this level, I gotta like figure out the best way to word this because make or break for years. That's how I see this, okay? I see us on the precipice of a bounce, and it will probably be the last bounce for a long time. Like, I think you're going to get October into the midterms. The midterms are Tuesday, November 8th. Interestingly enough, that's my child's due date. So read into that what you will. Into Tuesday, the 8th. And that's election day. We're about to enter this period where People are trying to make bonuses for the year. You don't want the entirety of America feeling like shit. You really don't. Going into the election season, right? So I think that this is pretty probabilistic. Now, the name of this show, for many of you who've never watched before, is called Plus Expected Value. And maybe it's time we reset what the fuck that means. The idea is you want to put yourself in a position where you are aligning yourself with the most probabilistic outcome. It does not mean that that outcome will happen. You're just trying to line yourself up with what over a long sample size or over a large sample size will come out in your favor. And that's essentially the basis of trading, at least the basis of my trading. Okay? Put yourself in a situation to succeed. That's it. Pretty simple. Well, easier said than done, okay? A lot of people fuck that up. And so there's just this is how I think about this from a macro perspective, because let's talk about, and I'm curious, there's now 30 some of you in here watching right now. What happens if this is down only? Okay, let's put the vertical line on. Okay, there it is. That's election week. If this is down only into election week, what happens during the election? Like, what happens? If you just get a crazy ass sell-off down into election day, what do you think happens? I'm genuinely curious. Can I do vertical writing on this? I guess. Red wave happens. Scoop, what's good? Yeah, I mean, a red wave happens, which would be really, really interesting. I mean, look, I lean right heavily, okay? And I'm not shy about that because I think that has more to do with just finances than anything else. And I don't even want like a fully red sweep, okay? I really don't. Shady, what's good, my guy? So I think we're on the precipice of a double bottom. And then we're going to maybe just look at it as simple as this, guys. As simple as this. I wanted to get this in here because I think it's about to happen. And then tomorrow's when here we go. We record the pod usually on Tuesday or Wednesday. So I can't stream Tuesday or Wednesday. And I think the bottom is going to happen in the next couple of days. Okay. So I'll change this. I'll make this as clear as possible. Okay. For how I'm thinking about playing this. And then you can do whatever the hell it is you want to do. Ah, shit. Almost knocked I literally almost just blasted my MacBook Pro off its stand. You would have seen a real quick end of this fucking stream. Okay. Who knows what the trigger is on a double bottom? I've talked about it 1,000 times, but it's been a while. What is the trigger on a double bottom? What is the trigger on a double bottom? It's okay to be wrong. I've never once roasted anybody for having the wrong answer when I've asked a question. So if you don't know, man, this is the time. What is the trigger on a double bottom? When price stops going down, it's about to go up. Well, that's a good way to get a Pico entry. So usually you can drill down to a lower time frame and get it there, okay? But the technical and the best, Karcher says people start buying more than they're selling. When I've been liquidated, I sold. Okay, yeah, so those are all pretty funny answers. And rather obvious. The the best, yeah, so volume's a good one. Volume's a good indicator, but volume is like a lot of times contextual. And I'll be honest with you guys, I've been trading for 12 years now, and volume profile longs are hard, okay? Like they are, or like when volume prints come in, like you can see it, but a lot of times that can be churn, okay? That can be like a buyer stepping in. It can be a short closing. It can be someone shorting the lows. You see churn happen. Like it's really hard, okay? The best way to look at double bottoms as a signal is usually on the second leg, you get a pierce lower than the first leg, okay? And the signal is when the initial level is regained, okay? That's the long. That's the long. As simple as fucking pie, man. As simple as pie. Because a lot of times when most people screw up, this is so thick it's hard to see. Let me make this a little bit better and I'll zoom in. And I'll redraw this. Okay? A lot of times what people screw up is they go, oh man, that's a double bottom. And they have no fucking idea what to do with that information. They don't. And that's okay, man. Like, it takes time. On ES, it's way different than on, like, crypto. Okay, crypto's fucking crazy. You can't think of crypto. Crypto, you, like, look for an SFP at the place where a second leg and a double bottom is. But that's not what we're looking for here. That's not what we're looking for here. Okay? So here's the bottom that was put in. 36.40, roughly. We're sitting here at 36.70. So the trigger, a lot of people go, oh, hey, it hit my level. It came down. That's a double bottom. I'm going to get long. And what rookies do, what novices do, is they buy that as it hits the area. And that's a phenomenal way to go broke, okay? That is like top 10 way to go poor. And quite frankly, a lot of times, like there's a phenomenon for people who use like fake money. For people that use like the dummy accounts and shit where they go on and it's not real money, but they like try to trade setups and they do really, really well. And then they go to trade their own money and they fuck up. This is one of those reasons why, because it's easy if you're using fake money to just set buy in an area and then have like some crazy stop like way down here that you would never actually do if you were trading your own money. So the trigger or where people screw up is it comes down to the area and you have buy orders and you're like, sweet, I'm just going to buy. But that very well could just keep going, dude. Because look at the breakdown. I don't see a reason to stop anywhere between here and here. All right, that's 300 points on the ES. That's literally billions of dollars. That's billions of dollars. So you can't just blindly buy. And if that wipeout happens, like, I'll see you later, crypto. Okay? I'm fucking out. I'll see you. So what the actual trigger is on a double bottom is the recapture. It's this. We broke down and then strength came in and the line was recaptured. Okay, let me get the actual fucking thing out. It would be this. All right. Put your stops under whatever low was put in. When there's a recapture of the initial low, that is the best double bottom you can possibly get. That's the trigger. And I know a lot of you fucked that up because I see it constantly. I see it constantly. People say double bottom, and a lot of times I'm like, okay, double bottom. How do you know to get in? Tell me, where do you set your stops? How do you know when your trade's been invalidated? Well, when it breaks down from the area. Okay, what's the level of breakdown? Are you going 1%, 2%? Are you just blindly buying? Like, exactly how the fuck are you going to manage this trade? And people don't have the answers, dude. There was a guy last week, I don't remember who it was. Somebody on crypto Twitter got outed for being an absolute fucking LARP. And he was essentially, just posting shit that seemed common. And then he would just go in and edit his positions and be like, yeah, no, I got that. And he fucking admitted that he was a LARP. All right, good for him. Good for him. He admitted he was a LARP and he got, he's got 180,000 followers. Good for him. But the point is, you wait for the trigger. I've said a million times. All you need to make money in trading are essentially three things. Discipline, which is what most people don't have. Horizontal support and resistance, and being able to draw it, like actually knowing how to draw horizontal support and resistance, okay? And then triggers. And really, there's a million triggers, and this isn't one that I use very often, but you usually can use it on higher time frames. The best trigger, the easiest, like the easiest trigger to understand is probably this one. Because like, how do y'all take positions, man? Seriously, in the chat, tell me. When you take positions before, are you just like, I feel good about it, I'm gonna go, and like without a trigger? I'm dead serious. Like, I'm not trying to like out anybody, but like, what do you typically fucking do? Is it a buy and hope? Well, it should stop here. Like, that's legit how people go broke, man. It's the trigger. And Matthew Howard on YouTube says, would you use that with regained close on the 4 hour or daily at the minimum? Yeah, so probably, so how it retakes that level to me would be pretty important, Matt. So I would look at the 4 hour and go like, all right, what do we got going on here? Did it come back decisively? Because here's the thing about ES, and you see it all the time. These fucking candles are unbelievable. Like, they'll just come out of nowhere and they rip. So I would have no problem. Like, if you actually see a prolonged dip, like we're on the 4 hour right now, I'll make it larger so you can see. So if you saw this and then the bars while they were down here never got up, so like this area was being held down, if that makes sense, and then as soon as it regained, I would have no problem buying and putting my stops under the lows. Now that's 100 points on the ES. That's a bad example, but like, or that's a bad example because that's a shitload of money and you would never do that. But that's the point. So like, if it regains it, I think it's worth the punt. And for my purposes, guys, like one of the ways that I've been able to make a ton of money is that I grew up trading this, okay, trading ES and trading equities. And so I had to get really, really good at entries. Triggers, because if not, if you're undisciplined, you get waxed. And so I look at this chart and I look for a reversal on ES and then I go to crypto. So this is number one for me. And maybe that's a conversation we'll have to have again later on, because alignment is where most people fuck up. And understanding that like, oh, Bitcoin has a great setup right now, but Ethereum doesn't, and the S&P doesn't, and the NQ kind of does. Like, that's a lot of conflicting information. You need to have them all be aligned. And so I look here and go, okay, it looks like the macro markets are going to try to put in a bottom. Now let me go look at something else. So the more of my story is that's like a piece of information where if I see 3640 breakdown and if I see it recaptured and I see some buyers come in and go, woo, and they try to rip that fucking thing, I am in. And I'm in because at that point I'm going to go, let me see where we are in Bitcoin. Let me see where we are on Ethereum. And that's the trigger, okay? By the way, there are scripts out there, and I use one through Alertatron. By the way, Alertatron, owned by my friends at Stack, the guys I do the podcast with, where you can take an alert on one instrument to have you buy and sell on another. Which is fucking awesome, okay? I don't really do that often, but it's cool that you can. It's cool that you can. So the reason why I even went down this whole tangent is I think it's coming in, and I think where most people screw up is they don't know the trigger. And the point of me even having this whole conversation is we're trying to put in a double bottom on a weekly time frame, which could be incredibly powerful. It could, right? But how do you define your risk? How do you define your entry conditions? And that's where 99% of you who are not profitable screw up. Where 99% of you who are not profitable screw up is right there. So look at this. Try to understand it. Watch it. I might be wrong. And you know what? I'll stop out and I'll live to fight another day. But look at this. If it's right, that's a 13-hour trade to the top end. It's a 13-hour trade. That's a ton. 13-hour trade, you can do one of those a quarter and make your year if you know how to position size appropriately, and that's a whole different conversation. But like, I think we're close. The reason why I think we're close is this. Okay. Look at bottoms recently in the market. Okay. Look where we are. We're below the bottom band on Bollingers. Okay. Last time this happened, like at a swing level, look right here, June 16th. June 16th, we went from 36 to 43. Trying to see places where like it really, really jumps. I mean, it has not jumped like that. Yeah, DX. You know what? That's a good question. Or that's a good point. Let me pull that bitch up. Where you at? Yeah. DXY above the top band. And ES below the bottom band. Most RSI, MACDs, etc. are well beyond oversold. We're almost to the end of September, which I said a month ago when I first started streaming again with more regularity. September usually sucks. It fucking sucks. And it did. Okay, we got a couple bounces off the first few days. And then it's been down only, right? It's been down only since then. But yeah, like the SPX where it is, I think we're in a high probability area of a bounce. But let me go back to March of 20. Just so people aren't like, well, it must go up. No, it doesn't. Okay, it mustn't. It mustn't. Here's why. Okay. Here's March of 20. A lot of times we thought that the bottom was in, and it fucking wasn't. Okay. So yeah, you still have to guard yourself against the black swan. You just can't blindly buy the bottom of the band because that literally was 32 to fucking 21. It was literally a third of the market was erased by the time something came in. Right? I gotta like pull my microphone higher and then force myself to sit up higher. There we go. So you can't always do it, but it's generally a pretty good indicator of what's going to happen next. And you can see spots like, it doesn't happen as much on the top side. Look at that. Yeah, it really hasn't happened to the top side, but it happens to the downside a lot. Right here. There you go. September of 20. You got shit incredibly overcooked. And then we went back down on the bottom side. So, yeah, this is just a good overall market indicator to take a look at. It just doesn't happen very often. I mean, really, it happened here too, right? It happened like all the way down. But you still saw the bounces. They just happened so violently because the VIX, like, look at this. Under, all the way back to the mean regression. Under, mean regression. Under, mean regression. Over, all the way down, mean regression. So, like, you can start to see it. And the reason why you go, okay, well, I'm not going to fucking buy it just because it gets there. There was no trigger. Where's the double bottom? Where's your entry conditions, right? Where are your entry conditions? You have to get comfortable with that concept, guys. And gals. And gals. I know y'all are out there too. Okay? You have to get good with that. So if we see a little fake down and rip back up, I'm in. And when I'm in, that means I'm going to go look here. And, I haven't really decided if I'm going Bitcoin or Ethereum yet, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to go Ethereum. And that's because of this. That's because of this. I just feel like the shine hasn't really worn off yet on what we did with the merge. And I think there's now upside. Like, Bitcoin's been performing relatively. It's been somewhat impressive how this area has just been holding for the entire summer. Literally, I mean, fuck, look at that. Look at that. Here's summer. Summer starts and summer ends. And we started and ended within like, $1,000 for the entire summer. You guys wonder why I didn't stream that much and I spent so much time fucking golfing. This is why. This is why. This actually looks like the most positive thing I can say about this here is look at the 50 on the daily. It's actually starting to kind of level out. That's nice. That's nice. We like that. And I think you've all seen it. Like, crypto's had relative strength. I was texting. So Kaz and I talk every day. We literally talk throughout the day, every day. We like the same sports teams. We like the same soccer teams. We like the same fucking college teams. Like, across the board, we're talking about shit. And obviously, we're both in trading. And when this wick down happened to 1218, I was short from whatever, 1377. And I was like, if they really want, go Bucks. Get fucked. Go blue. I'm kidding. It's all love. It's all love in crypto. And I was like, if they really want to show relative strength, like I can go find the fucking message. If they really want to show relative strength, they need 1250 to hold badly. Like badly. And look at this. Okay. I love doing this shit. This is like, as much for me as it is for you guys, because I just enjoy it. I like a good picture. And bam. All right. So you actually started to see it. Like they stepped in. And while this was happening, you know what the ES was doing? This. Like that's impressive. So they showed up, man. That's enough for me to take a look at this and say, boy, if the standard market gets better, I'm not saying we're going back to 2000, but there's a trade in there that gets us up higher again. Maybe 1600, maybe back to the 50-day before our eventual demise. Hell, maybe it is range high. I don't know. But on a large enough time frame, what is it, weekly? Yeah, fuck. Higher high, higher low. Please believe me when I tell you guys. Please believe me. If I'm right, okay, which I'm not saying that I will be, but let's say I am. Let's all close our eyes and jump into a universe where I'm correct about this. How many fucking people on the interwebs are going to come out of the woodwork and be like, well, I knew it because it was a higher low on the weekly? They're all going to say it. No one's fucking saying it now. Everyone's dooming and glooming right now. But this is just by the book. If it happens, higher high. And I'll get fucked. Higher low. Marquette, what's up? How you living? Right? If it happens, if it turns out, bottom putting near, higher high, higher low, if you take out these highs, game fucking on, okay? It'd be game on. It'd be game on to the point where it, like, if we get a breakout, and like, you can quote me on this shit, write it down, put an alert on your chart, I don't care. If we take out these highs again, we do not even begin to see resistance again until 2600. And really, maybe even 33. Okay? Taco Fund 83 subscribed for 8 months. Currently on a 1 month streak. Taco Fund, man, good to see you again. And I appreciate you. Abel Tom. Tom says, I told myself if it happened, I would start deploying. I'm too scared. But I deployed some anyway. And hello, good to see you, man. What's been hard for me to rectify is crypto's relative strength. Honest to God. Because by any stretch of the imagination, Brian D, what's good, my dude? By any stretch of the imagination, crypto is high beta after it's done like rails of cocaine. Okay? That's what crypto is. It is high beta, absolutely fucking crazy. And amidst a ton of volatility, we've held serve. We're trying to put in a higher low. And so if you take a step back, right? Take a step back for a second. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? All right, so here's Ethereum on the weekly. And I want some answers in the chat. Karcher says degen's gonna degen. That's degen's gonna degen. That's a highly cynical answer, but I'm not saying it's wrong. Okay, a highly cynical answer. I'm not saying it's wrong. What else? Here's the Ethereum weekly. Here is the S&P. Okay, we're at equal lows at the bottom right now on the S&P. Ethereum is trying to put in a higher low. Bitcoin is down at the lows with the S&P. Okay? NASDAQ, same thing. Russell, same thing. To me, that says... It doesn't mean it's true, okay? But, like, I interpret that this way. And I try... I try to make sense of shit like this a lot. Like, I'll be up at 2 a.m. and I'm like, how the fuck did we get to a place where the world is on fire? I mean, look at it. Look at it. Where the world is on fire like this, and the highest beta, the craziest shit there is putting in a higher low. How do you rectify that in your mind? Like, do you honestly hear that? Do you look at that and go, it's just one of those things? I'm serious. XXT Bag says, buying the blood after the merge was always the plan. Once ETHBTC stopped bleeding, I started longing. First off, good for you. At least you had a plan to execute. That's better than most people. But like, for those of you who are long or scared or not interested in trying to get back in the markets right now, how do you rectify Ethereum outperforming everything on a weekly basis? We're not talking about on a day, but post-merge, the narrative's gone. All your favorite influencers on the Bird app came out and were like, I knew it. The fucking merge was a big nothing burger. Fucking sell the, buy the rumor, sell the news. But here we are, holding serve ahead. And the way that I interpret that is there are a large percentage of people who think that there is a bounce coming and they think Ethereum is the horse. That's where the relative strength is. Okay? That's their play. And it'd be hard to argue otherwise, right? That's a lot of upside, folks. I mean, that's an 18% potential bounce from low to high range, right? Even if you say to me, Jared, I don't think there's any way possible that you are going to see a rip to the high side of the range. All right, well, 50% still 3,900. We're at 3,675 right now. It's not nothing. That's not nothing. So there's plenty of reasons to think that it's possible. Brian makes a fair point. Well, there's less risk, systemic risk in crypto after all the blowups. Yeah, I mean, whatever has been done has been done. So it's hard to say otherwise. You saw a little bit of strength out of Apple here, which is interesting to see. You're seeing money coming out of Apple. You're seeing money come in on the S&P. I mean, guys, this is the shit that you take a look at. I mean, by the way, I think most of you know me. There's now 40 some of you in here, which I appreciate, not including the people on Twitter. I never know. Once they change their shit on Periscope, I can't see who's on Twitter anymore. But there's a bull div on the ES right now, right here. If this turns up, that is a buy the book MACD bull div, which again, that would be how I called the top of the market twice. Right here. 1 and 2. So there are reasons to believe, folks. Reasons to believe. I feel like I'm a preacher. The Lord said, not like that, but like, there's reason to believe there's a bounce in it. And I just, too much for me practically says that The smart money is on a bounce. Smart money's on a bounce. Doesn't mean it will happen. I want to say that explicitly. It does not mean that it'll happen. But what I gave you when we first started this fucking stream was the conditions in which I would take a position. And you go, well, Jared, it's already bouncing a little bit. Now what? Well, you know, you got the overnight. You got some other shit you can do. But there's also other things, right? Like, I don't know if you guys ever think about this, but this is a mini range high. Okay? So 37.13 when these wicks higher. Let's say that they just want to be really rude. There you go. There's the range high. 37.14. Here's a smaller div that is actually potentially going to actuate here in a moment. And that's a different signal. But if you wanted to play the range high breakout in a lower time frame, that would be another one. So these are the ways in which you can give yourself entries and define your risk. Boom. A breakout of that area. I'm doing so right now, Kali. That's what I'm talking about. You have to look for areas where it's like, all right, that's not the perfect entry, because essentially what you're doing, if you don't get the entry that I initially described, then you got to play something more aggressive. I liked the double bottom sweep of the lows entry because you get the best entry to where you have the least amount of time. Potato Lord, what's good? To where you have the least amount of time that your position could be underwater against you. Okay? And what I found in my 12 literal dozen years of fucking trading is the number one reason why people fuck up is they go away from their plan. And let me tell you what I mean by that real quick. There's a quote by Mike Tyson from back when he first was like getting in, like, you know, into the professional circuit, late 80s, early 90s, whatever it may be. And people were trying to create plans on how to beat him. And his quote was, yeah, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. And the punch in the mouth, if we're translating that to crypto or just trading in general, is that you have a plan. You go, okay, we see that the SPY is below the bottom band. Shady just pointed out another one in the chat. 3 daily closes on the VIX above the 30 is generally a decent mean reversion long. Okay, there's another one. I like the area on a low time frame. You're seeing a double bottom. This is all pretty nice. And you go, I think this is worth the punt. The punch in the mouth that most people don't think about is after you open your position, dude, if you're looking at that position, you see red numbers in your face, you start doing dumb shit, okay? You start doing dumb stuff. You start thinking to yourself, like, maybe I was wrong. Let me get on Twitter and see what other people are saying. What about if it's like this? Or what about maybe this isn't it? Maybe this is the fake out. Am I the sucker? Are we just going lower? And you start second guessing your plan. It's easy to plan in the quiet of a closed market, which is how I started because I was in equities and futures, right? The market was fucking closed. You could plan overnight. But in crypto, it's a little bit harder. So the reason why I even told you that story was there's a long if we don't get the sweep of the lows. For me, that would be this taking out of 37.11 on ES. But you have to understand, that's essentially playing a range high breakout. It's a breakout trade. A breakout trade either requires one of two things. If you take tight stops, there's a decent chance it's going to knock you out on some sort of rinse back down. Just to like get people off center, right? So that's one. Or two, you have to put your stops way down here. This is a massive stop. It's literally a 40 fucking points on the S&P 500. On the ES futures contract, that's a ton of money if you're actually playing this issue, right? So it's hard to do. So it's not ideal. It's not ideal. But I'll tell you this right now. I didn't even know it because I was looking at a higher time frame. But you give me a turn up right here. If you have my MACD indicator, which by the way, join the Telegram, send me a note. I'll give you access to my Telegram or to my custom indicator, which Gainsey once said it's his favorite indicator for gauging intraday market momentum. That's for real. He tweeted it once. If this turns up and closes, which we got, in the next 40 minutes, if it closes up, that's a long signal. You could take the long from wherever that happens, put your stops on their lows. The triggers are where you guys screw up. I'm not saying all of you. Yeah, you're welcome. Self-sovereign says, thank you. It's helped me so much. Yeah. Because here's the thing. I don't care if you guys have my indicator. I don't care. I really don't. It's not like, oh, fuck, that's my thing. Yeah, I protect it because I just don't want somebody coming in and grabbing it and cloning it. But all I want you to do is come be part of the community. The community's been dead lately, man. We're down like 150 members as the market's gone to shit. But that's good, man. I don't want the people that are quitters. Fuck those guys. I mean, that's such an unbelievably clearly defined range on low time frame, right? Look at that. If you get a turn up, I don't know. But here's the thing. I'm not trying to rush this entry either. I'm not trying to rush that entry. If it reverses, then it reverses. I want to see a confirmation. And a lot of times it takes getting stopped out 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Then you get the entry and you go, well, shit, you already got stopped out 4 times. Yeah, well, if you set your stops in the right place, those are small losses. Remember, there are 4 trades that are acceptable in trading. 4. A big win, a small win, a break-even trade, and a small loss. Those are the 4 acceptable outcomes in trading. And a small loss. Nowhere in there did I say, my position's underwater and fuck it, now I'm in it. I'll just hold on to my shit and hope one day it comes back and watch it work against me 80%. Nowhere in there did I say that was one of the acceptable outcomes. But I see people doing it constantly. Constantly. Unable to take a loss. I do not get that. Because if you've ever had a winning trade before, man, the loss, you're one winning trade away from getting it back. If you watch your account move against you 30%, you got to do real fucking well to make that shit back up, y'all. Real well. Anyway, we'll see if that happens. But look at this. Look at this. Just the relative strength on Ethereum has been really impressive. Really impressive. I mean, if it can jump and flip the 4-hour trend. So for me, I put the 4-hour trend as the 50. Some people use the 20, which is probably more realistic. But like, if you see that level of a breakout retest, the 4-hour trend flips, that's positive. Okay, that's a reason to go. That is a entry signal. That would be resistance flip to support with the trend reversion. Hey, that's a long. But you know what most people do? Oh, fuck it. I like the area. I'm just going to get long. Oh, okay, sweet. Jared, my position has moved against me, man. I don't know what to do. Okay, well, how did you get in? I just liked an area, so I bought it. So you just blindly bought the area? Yeah. Okay, close your position then. I'm underwater 30%. Yeah, I don't care. Close your position. Become a better trader. You know what? Honest to God, it was the best lesson that I've ever gotten in trading. And a lot of you in here probably experienced it too if you started trading in the last couple of years. The worst thing that can happen to you is immediate success. The worst thing that happens to traders is immediate success. You want to know why? Because you think you're skilled, and it turns out you're just lucky. Because you think you're skilled, and you just got fucking lucky. That's why. You think you're skilled and you got lucky and you don't realize it. And so you do some irrational shit because you think you're better than you are. I told my story on the pod. I told my story here probably a dozen times. I'm doing this for a year and a half now, guys. A year and a half I've been streaming. And thank you for all of you who have been supporting me for that time. It means a ton to me. You're my guys. I'm your guys. But yeah, my first 18 months in equities, I was a fucking monster. I was a fucking monster. I literally was crushing it. 18 months. And then I lost it all in like 24, 72 hours. Because I thought I was God. And I started leveraging up, using options. And I lost pretty much everything that I had made and then some. In a year and a half, I erased it. So, yeah. So, okay. So, Tom says, yep, those who started in 2020 like me. Crypto Kyle, you got to pay your tuition in the market. That's typically how people think about it. That's how I think about it because I learned that lesson real hard. Tommy says, because it's like winning the slot machine. It's your first time at the casino. Yeah. If you go to a slot machine, you throw a couple bucks in a casino and you rip that arm and you win. You're like, oh man, I love the casino. I always win. You've been one time. That is not scientific. You got lucky. And if you're able to internalize and be like, I got lucky as fuck, like that's one thing. I don't think anybody goes into a casino and pulls an arm on a slot machine and says, that was all me, man. The machine spoke to me. Therefore, that was skill. Nobody's done that. Right? You kind of know it's luck. But in crypto, like maybe you bought Doge because you liked the fucking thing and then it went on a rip because Elon started tweeting about it. You're like, I'm an alt specialist. Bullshit. You got lucky as fuck. And I bet you've been donating back all of your winnings ever since that happened. Or you held it the whole way, right? No plan. Abel Tom followed up with, those who started in 2020 like me, it's been hard. It is hard. It is hard, okay? But that's okay, man. The reason, since it's hard, is why it's fun. Because you finally start to get it, right? I enjoy the bull rally and the midterms narrative. Yeah, well, look, Careless, that's part of it for me, but it's also just the fact that, like, we're due, right? I don't know if you've been here the whole time, but, like, look at this shit. You got 2 days, 2 closes underneath the bottom band. 2 closes in a row underneath the bottom band. Doesn't happen very often. All the while, crypto's showing relative strength. I don't know, man. I would fucking love to see like $2,200 Ethereum. Just like get me to the top of this range. Get me to the top of this range. And then right as shit's getting cold and elections are happening and people fucking hate everything about what's going on. And then like they hate their lives and the cold and, you know, it's hurricane season or whatever. I'm going to short the fuck out of it through to the bottom and then we'll rebuy back at $500. Like that is honestly what I hope to have happen. But that's my general plan, which I'm willing to ignore. Playing the relative strength game definitely saved my ass these past few months. Self-sovereign ETH on the 4-hour, the confirmed bull div, then buying the higher low with the white dot on the MACD. Where, yeah, dude, absolutely. Careless says common narrative has been passing my doomer narrative. Well, look, I got doom. I got a ton of doom. And like, I have existential doom. Okay. In my head where I'm like, God, if this happens, what happens to crypto? What did I dedicate my life to? Fuck. You know, like you have all these thoughts. But then I realized that, like, you know who you're up against in the market? Point click. Number go up. Okay? So, like, the bounces bounce so hard because people still remember the 2020 into really the start of this year of everything just being fucking up only. And there hasn't been enough pain yet. There's been a lot of pain, but not enough. Okay? Not enough. There needs to be soul-crushing pain. And by no means have we come close to that yet. Like, none. So there's ETHBTC. So, like, when you look at this, I see a couple things. I see an 8-hour bull div, which is great. But actually, really what I'm looking for here is this, okay? This would be another signal for whenever this time comes, which might be soon, it might be later. There you go. Okay. Taking out those highs, ABC. It's an ABC long, and that would probably lead to, yeah, there. So that's a probably something like this, right? Something like that. So you have plenty of ways that this can really start to work for us. But I like that I see this bull div on ETHBTC. I like the relative strength here. Give me that breakout. And Bitcoin's just kind of doing its thing. There's part of me that says I feel like Bitcoin's due, but that's just like being probably too pragmatic. The reason why I drew this while I was venting or vibing a little bit ago is this DTL, right? It's a trend line going back to June. So, you know, if we get this breakout of this DTL, and you can probably do a little bit better here, be more exact for the sake of the drawing. Yeah, I don't like that either. Fuck me. All right, well, this doesn't look as good when you're using the average, so I guess I'll just take it for what it is. I don't think there's like a breakout here per se. So maybe it's like you got to clip this diagonal trend line and then hold this range high, 22.4, 22.5, and then you might see the strength to get here. Okay? You might. Because people look at this shit. As much as you're like, all right, dude, yeah, crooked, you know, diagonal lines, big deal. Enough people look at it that if it breaks, you know, they'll take notice. They'll take heed. Brian says bottom seems close to me in terms of price than time, in my opinion. Bottom seems closer in terms of price than time. Okay, so what you're saying is you think that the price is there, but maybe we move sideways a little longer? I could see that. Yeah, Solana just kind of riding this bitch sideways. I mean, unbelievable. A lot of you were on the stream the day that I wrote this, and I don't think I'll ever take it down. I remember literally writing this on this day, that'd be January 5th, this breakdown on Solana, where I just wrote, nah, not great. Guess what? Not great. Never been tested again. Not great. Never been tested again. After that day, it broke down. Yeah, that's not great. And bam. Yeah, Scoob, narrator. It, in fact, was not great. Yeah. Good times. Good times. Crude's down. That's good for us. We like that. Gold, also down. Yeah. Yeah, that was a hoot. That was a good time. We all liked it. But this is probably the most productive thing. The best thing for me. The reason why my bounce candidate beyond the bull div on Ethereum BTC, on ETH BTC, this holding of this area and putting it in here while I think the ES is trying to put in a bottom, easy. Pound's looking to be called the ounce. But maybe Sol's great now. Yeah, I mean, so maybe. I don't know, man. There's too many bag holders left, colleague. That's the problem. There's too many bag holders left. So, like, it's going to hit. The reason why bottoms take so long is people hold. People hold. So, like, even, let's say, like, we go fucking bananas. Just, like, absolute horseshit, like, crazy. There is no fucking way Solana gets over $80. Like, none. None. And that's like, that'd be a crazy rip. These people have all held. And so when price got close for them, they get out. Like 80, 85, there's no way. There is no chance that is not heavily sold. And really, quite frankly, it's probably more like 60. Have any thoughts on the Cosmoverse developments in a fundamental sense? Like the stuff that they announced today or at the Cosmoverse? I haven't even looked. To be honest with you, I have not looked. So I don't know about new shit that's coming out yet. This is pretty funny though. That remember how I said 90% of the time on falling wedges it resolves the opposite way. There's the 10% right there, guys. That was a falling wedge. That was a falling wedge in the pound that broke down, and it broke down violently. Yeah. Is it? I haven't even looked. Fucking yikes, dude. 72? Oh my God. Bro. I used to make jokes about like, yeah, well, if you want to buy a car in America, it's like 30 grand or like 180,000 US. It's like pretty much there. What am I on right now? IDC? That's fine. I don't care. I don't trade it, so I don't really give a shit. Yeah, it's not ideal. I mean, I feel bad for you guys. And so, like, this is a good example, right? Look what the dollar's doing. That's a parabola, okay? That's a fucking parabola. Not even just a parabola. It's a fucking parabola. Okay? And there's really no way to know. There's really no way to know when that stops, right? So Tom says he's hedged, which is amazing. But for people who aren't, the dollar's up, Canadian dollar's down. If you're buying petrol, to use, the European Canadian term, right? This is priced in dollars, okay? Well, if you're losing the battle against the dollar, it costs incrementally more of your income for the same shit. Yeah. That'd be nice. That'd be nice if that stopped. I'll tell you what, this, though, as a means of resistance is like a fucking pea shooter trying to stop a tank. So it might happen, but I don't know. This is like the final boss, right? This is really the bigger part, I feel. And we are into it right now. Because like 1.21 is asinine. Not to say that it won't happen. It definitely could. So, I don't know. It's hard for me to look at this shit and not think that we have more to go. But, hold on one second. How the fuck do I copy the link? Cool. All right. That's a Telegram. If you're not in the Telegram, join it. You should. If you want my indicator, that's where you should go. You can join the Discord as well. Discord, a lot of really good people are in there. Create, invite people, copy. Sweet. There's the Discord. And we can talk about it. I'm happy to hear, different opinions on this. I just think that it's worth planning for. This might be the last best opportunity you get to make money for the year. I'm pretty confident that it is. All right. And the other thing I would say is you got to be ready for what happens next. So the streams that we'll have subsequent to this are going to be looking for that place where we are going to try to hedge. Because I look at it as, all right, what are we up against, right? Range low, range high, this red box. Well, if we get into the red box around 2000, are we just selling? No, I would want to see a reversal trigger. And you got to be on high alert. So it's like if you catch the bottom, it's not like, all right, sweet, I caught the bottom, let's roll. Where's the next spot? Here would be 1, 1,700. Here would be 2, 2,000. 3, 2,500. 4, 3,300. I don't think there's a fucking snowball's chance in hell we get to $3,000. But I have a plan in case we do. So you got to start planning this shit out in advance. As you can see, I've been streaming more lately. That is my plan. At least getting in as many as I can before baby number 2 comes. Because I get the feeling I'll have less time. But, you know, we'll see. I'm going to do something I haven't done in a long time. If you're interested, I'm going to pop into the Discord and do like a post-stream Q&A. So if you guys have questions, pop into the Discord. If you want to talk to me, if you want to chat, add your voice to this conversation, I'd be happy to do so. That was fun before. We just kind of got into summer and I stopped doing it. So good seeing you all here again. If you have any remaining like quick questions here at the end, I'm happy to talk about it. But I'm going to hit our outro. Does the outro work? Yeah, it's working. Sweet. Any last comments before I head into the Discord and we chat in there?
5 to the 4 to the 3, 2, 1. Word.
Did that yesterday. Heard you immune from Lions losses now. You know, man, that was the fucking. I mean, I took the points. Don't get me wrong. Like, I took the plus 4.5, or plus 6.5 rather. So I won my bet. But yeah, it was literally just aggressive. The entire game was the reason why the Lions had the lead. And then our coach made a bonehead decision twice in the last fucking 3 minutes and cost us the game. So I feel bad about that. But they're fun to watch, man. They're a good team. But yeah, no, it still hurts. I'm just dead inside a little. Yeah, thank you, XXT. Good to see you. Thank you to those who resubbed. I appreciate you. I'll be in the Discord. I'll see you.